clarify a few points?
There's a lot been said, and I know that a lot of deputies get what we're trying to do, and that the vast majority of small operations will not be impacted at all under €5,000. By the way, in the bill, the Minister of the Day can amend those figures as well. It won't need primary legislation. That was one of the issues with the 56 Act. You know, they just got stuck in time, and there was no way of changing it. But in this bill, we put in a section which will enable the Minister of the Day to by regulation, to change some of these figures if necessary. Now, and obviously, it would have to come before the House to be approved. But if there's a problem here that is not foreseen, that can be done. Not the percentages. That's not possible. But the 5,000, the 30,000, the stake and prizes for the machines that's been mentioned, and so on, can all be actually amended by SI with the approval of the House, if that's necessary. Can I just reiterate again that under our law at the moment, commercial bingo is not allowed. If somebody goes to the courts and they want to run bingo or a lottery, which bingo has been defined in the courts as a lottery, bingo is a lottery, they must do it for a charity. They must do it for a charity. That's the law as it stands, and most colleagues here agree with that. And what we've been saying here is, and the big issue that's causing a problem here is what percentage should the charity get? I'm suggesting 25%. I'm suggesting 25% of the takings would actually go to run the thing, which is quite a large amount of money. If you get 25% of the takings, it's a lot of money. At the moment, they're taking up to 40%, which is huge. So we'll bring that down to 25%, and then 50% for prizes. At the moment, prizes are around 60%. Now, I know we're talking about 75 and stuff like that, but there is a facility, as I said, to top up. Now, there are a few questions about rollovers. At the moment, and this isn't changing, if your prize goes over 5,000, you need to get a licence from the court. That's it at the moment, because you're actually running an event which clearly demands a licence from the court, and that's it. So that's clear. The actual lottery licence itself lasts for 12 months, and that's in the legislation. So once you have the lottery permit, it's 12 months. So that Deputy Nocton was asking that. The National Lottery itself is mentioned by Deputy Burton, and that's under deeper. And there's a National Lottery Act, and we didn't bring that in here specifically. We wanted to keep this tight to this. Oh, there is a regulator there, indeed there is. And my intention is, and the government's intention is, to bring in a regulator as well to regulate the rest of it. And that's a mammoth task. And we've a lot of work done on it at the moment, a huge amount of work done on it. It's very, very complex and very large, and the legislation, I mean, this is a minor piece of legislation I'm bringing in, and look at all the confusion it's caused. And I said already, when we bring in the major piece of legislation, it's going, because you're talking about, look, I don't want to get into it here because we've enough said on it. Dennis Stockton asked about the issue being flagged. Yes, issues were flagged. Obviously, I know that officials got letters and so on earlier on about some of these issues, especially the 25% for charity. And we made the decision early on that this would be the way to go. Until now, it hasn't been raised, and I take the point that this is why we have these stages, so people can raise them. There have been no amendments tabled by anybody to make changes here on this either. As I say, we're on the 75. I know what the deputy is saying. I don't think it's going to make a massive difference at the end of the day. There is a possibility that they can top it up anyway, and I'm just slow to kind of go down this road. I'm not sure if we can in any event, but even if we did, because we haven't examined it carefully and concisely, I'd just be concerned in case we'd have some unforeseen consequence here. But I would put it to Deputy Kenny that there isn't much difference between what we're saying. The 50 is what's there at the moment, which can be topped up to make it attractive, and I know that's what you're getting at. And I don't think there's an issue there. And it only, again, it applies to the over 5,000, so the vast majority of small operators that we talk about, and clubs and organisations, won't be impacted anyway. The large kind of agents that run bingo on a Deputy Shorthouse seems to say on a kind of a semi-commercial basis, we're actually demanding that they actually pay towards charity, and we're not bringing in commercial bingo at this time. I do take the point that it is existing in other places. I would be concerned that if that happened here, that these operators might muscle in and shut down all the small ones. You know, there is that risk, and we have to be very, very careful if we actually allow large corporations, large business, very wealthy organisations to start to move into this area, and they could actually maybe impact on the local charities, the local bingos and so on, lotteries that we're all concerned about here tonight, and we want to proceed. Yeah, I know in one particular city there was an attempt for that. I think it did happen, and there was huge concern amongst the small organisations and clubs, and Deputy Burton's been talking as well about charities and raising money for hospitals and hospices and so forth, that they would all be impacted by the large, shiny, glitzy professional operation that would move in and suck in all the business, if you will. So I'd be concerned about that, and I'd be very, very careful and very slow to go down that route. You know?
Thank you.
I know it's different, but they would operate in the same space. And if you can imagine this large, maybe multinational corporation that the Deputy Shortall seems to want to allow to move into an area, that could actually shut down the small local charities that are working very hard on a voluntary basis. And I don't think we'd want to. I don't think we'd want to do that. I certainly wouldn't be in favour of it without very, very careful analysis, research, and consideration.
Thank you.